Hello, this is Crono and I'm gonna play Home. Well, I heard it's a interesting horror game, but I'm not sure if there's actually any horror in it. So I hope I'm not going to be disappointed about this, and credits to Dima for buying this for me. And I hope it's worth it. Okay, let's start. Your game will be saved automatically at certain points. However, we recommend you put aside an hour and a half and complete Home in a single sitting. Wear headphones. Turn off the lights. Check. Well, I remember that point was finding myself alone. Oh my head. Where was I? It was so dark. There was something by my feet. A flashlight. That house. Where was I? There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it? I don't know, but I don't like it. No, cat. Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I have to get out of there. The desk had a computer and some papers on it, and a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer? No, I didn't open it. Maybe it was better that I left the desk alone. Well, maybe. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg? I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. A thin grey mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? Yes, you freed the mouse. A collection of rusty tools. These looked like they'd seen a lot of use and were caked in damp smelling dirt. Why weren't they in a shed? Oh, that's an interesting question. I found a picture of a couple. It looked like it'd been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch? Yes, you did. It presses smoothly into the wall. I hear a far away click somewhere. Click. The bookshelf was full of books on local history and hunting. What was that? An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for two people. There were dozens of beer and cans and other liquid bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. I don't know what the crack was, but I have a very weird feeling. I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. Good for you. The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out. The bathroom was incredibly clean. Every surface had been thoroughly wiped, and nothing seemed out of place. There was a photo of the woman laying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking up, but they were pretty blue. I thought I saw what looked like three tops. was that? The door was taped up and seemed to be locked. By the smell, I guessed that it led to the kitchen. What was that sound? Seriously. The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I found a way out. I must have moved it, right? Yes. I heaved the box toward it, and it finally gave. There was a ladder going on where the box was. A dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? Yes, you did. Oh, I hate this. I don't like dark places. My leg hurt like hell as I climbed down that ladder. The tunnel below was even darker and the smell wasn't getting any better. But I had to get out of there and find my way home. Footprints in the dirt look more than one kind and a lot of tracks. It was an old map of the town, placed the lower market, the industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. The guy upstairs must have done this, but what was his interest in the water tower? Newspaper clippings from the local paper, they were all about murders in town over the last few years. Wait, there were photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe we should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information. A birthday recording in papers, dirt and oh, I hate the guns. I didn't take it, did I? No, I didn't even want to touch the thing. Better I left it right where it was. I have a feeling I should have taught it. The desk looked at all and was kicked with grime. On it was a kind of store. Probably not looking like they did in the scratch hole. And illegible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. Here, Eve, none of it made any sense to me. Let's look around. Some kind of homemade rack, strung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? Crudely made shells. They looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and sleek, but I could see the warnings. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something poking at the bottom. Something wet. Well, it's blood. What else could it be? There looked to be bones have dug into the ground, and the remains look at old. Who put them here? Oh, I don't like this. This is a prison. Is that part? Some kind of old boxes. They look like they were years old. Wait, these ones had old clothes in them. Clothes I remember throwing out after ration and I moved to town. What the hell are they doing here? There. Interesting. I remember noticing that broken light. I had to be careful. I don't remember if I jumped down here or found another way. It looked to be a long way. Did I jump down? No. Maybe there was some other way to get down there without risking any injuries to my leg. There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to discharge. Oh shit. The rope I found would have let me climb down the ladder safely. Did I climb down? Yes. Could hear a faint hum, and the smell before started to get worse. bunch of old newspapers. We pasted together. A message has been hesitating on it. Keep out danger in caving. I don't like this. My hands tingled from the burn of sliding down that rope. It was lucky I found that. Who knows what would have happened if I had jumped down. Still, it was all I could do to not have rushed out of that awful place. That wreck, those terrible tools, what the heck was going on back there? The metal door groaned as I leaned into it, causing my heart to skip a bit at the sound. As I peeked into the dark of the next room, I worried that I should have taken the gun I saw. But me, with a gun? There was dirt on the ground. Look at that, and there was grass smeared within it. I hope it goes up. Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage, and there were rips and tears in most of the bags. What looked like an old video was sticking out. Did I take the tape? Yeah. I wasn't sure what I hoped to discover with the tape, but I took it anyway. I could hear a faint tinkling sound like water. What was that? Kitchen knife covered in dry blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? No. I was relieved to leave the filthy knife right where I found it. I don't like this. I seriously don't like this. There was a rusty ladder sunk into the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I could find a way to drain the putrid water. Now I have to drain the water there. I have a feeling that I'm gonna end up dead. Oh my god. I thought I could turn this water to shut off. Did I? Yes. But I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. Oh, is this a puzzle? I hope it's not a puzzle. Because it's gonna take me a few... Ah, damn it! It's gonna take me a while. The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. Oh, that's where I heard that noise. I don't want to go in there anymore. Yes, you did. Okay. That's how I have to do it. I hope the water is drained. Yes, it is. Whew. Looking like the water drained out of that. Great, the wall. Excellent. The safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? I don't know, but I'm getting the goosebumps. The door was locked. I could see a faint light within. I found another dead body, a sewer worker. He was a mess, but he looked like he'd been stabbed. You could see a keyring that had fallen out of his pocket. Did I take it? Yes, I worked out the nerve to snatch the keyring away and put it in my pocket. Well, I had to get the keys, because I'm guessing one of the doors are going to be locked. You smell a hint of fresh air. It must have been near an exit of some kind. But I wonder, what did that key I found on the server do? And what was on the videotape I found? Sore leg made climbing the ladder difficult, but I slowly made my way up. I wonder what was on that VHS tape I found, or in that locker room. Should I have gone back to check? At the top I found a latch and popped it up. Suddenly, as I lifted the lid away, the awful smell of that sewer gave way to the dark stench of pine trees. Oh shit. I'm in the forest, or outside the house. Okay, this is giving me the gibbers. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I have sent. Whoever was poking around in this tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here the sign pointed to various campsites and walking paths within the wood. Then showed the river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Ooh. Oh my god, that scared the crap of me. Actually, I'm gonna go back. I don't like being in the forest alone. The rusty was like tight with an old pattern. Faded sign on the door warned about some kind of train yard. It must have referred to the town's only train station. It didn't look like it'd be able to get through there at all. Oh, so I have to enter the forest. Oh my god. The worn picnic table stood within a circle of trees, like an altar. It was covered in frames, marking and carvings from who I presume were previous campers and hikers. The path ended in a cold, milking area. I wasn't sure if it was safe to cross like this. In that darkness, it didn't seem wise to try. Maybe there was another option. Through the fence I could see a dissipated outbuilding. I wondered if I could find my way around it. There was a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Two folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. There were a couple of cans and cheap dome tent slid to paper. I shone my flashes and I could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks and a cooler. But nobody there. Some personal effects showed back into wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Yes. Yes, inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after one page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contains several names: Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Sherry, Aristo, Polycrops, Rachel. Rachel, her name was last on the list and had a mark inside in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cherry, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. It's the notebook of the killer. Something like that. So in other words, oh, I don't like this at all. The green sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. There was a damp smelling plank leaning against the stall. I might have been able to cross the river with it. Did I take it here? I managed to carry the plank under my own so it didn't get in the way. Okay, so the killer's after Rachel. So now, the plank I found was long enough for a quick bridge, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. Well, it's worth a try. Two bodies, two young women were half dug into a hasty shallow grave between the trees. The younger looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. They deserve better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? Yes. I tried to cover them up a bit more and I closed the young woman's eyes, flashing it through the marker. I wasn't sure why, but I had to do something. Wait, is that it? Did I cross back over the... I can't go that way, so guess I'll have to go around that house again. I finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. Through the dense trees, I could finally start to see some light. I must have been at the edge of the forest, though I wasn't sure where the path ahead of me led. I could almost feel the cryptic notebook in my pocket as it tried to think about it, what it could mean, and where were the campers who had abandoned their site. Did I meet them too? Through the path ahead of me with less dance, I still felt guarded and wary. Who knew what was ahead? Good question. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all these years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago. Now, times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. Oh no. His head had been severely beaten and his face was covered with blood. Oh god. Looking to the ground was a cracked old watch. It was mine. I brought it on a trip out west with Rachel. Did I take my watch? Oh, I have a bad feeling about taking that watch. Just look at that, there were turn in my stomach. I decided to leave it buried. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like somebody had been looking for something. There was a large power box with 5 lights and the cables burst out of the box, leaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear and cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. The door was locked tight. It seemed to be connected to the power boxes beside it. The door was locked shut and there was a little electronic box under the handle. A sign was pasted to the front that said, "Danger! Closed for repairs." I have to go upstairs. Oh, that's where I heard the sound. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotten. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellow clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from guys that worked here. One of them had to Norman, who was one of the older guys in the line. On the line. A power panel, looking like it was shut down. Did I push the switch? Well, if I push it and there's a killer in here, he'll know that I was the one. A little bit, I don't like the feeling. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched and the face was unrecognizable. Shut it, there was a rusty looking car slot on the side. Wait, I'm guessing that woman, the picture of the woman is Rachel. Or victims, you have only missing this city. So I have a feeling that the killer was actually one of the workers in this place, and he's been spying on me or something like that. The door was entered like someone had punched it. I don't remember him to be dead. The utility crumpled issue tools and it. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take it? Yes. As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. That could only mean one thing. That's the weapon that killed the guy outside. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom floor, there is a magnetic card. Did I take the card? Yes. Said that it had a dusty old looking lock bar or something, so that's what we have to do to get it running. Seemed like it would pass through this screen. Did I use the key? No, not yet. sound at all. No. With the power was working, the door was unlocked. Did I go through the door? No. Let's check the door upstairs, the first floor. I'm curious to see what I will find up in there. Now I want to know more about this. The one who's the murderer or something. Though I have a feeling I'm gonna regret it though. There was some kind of ventilation hatch there. It looked like you could jump to the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was, but I couldn't see another option. No. In fact, I was too chicken to jump down the broken ladder before I do it now. Well, I have things with a jump down there. I'm gonna break my leg or something, and then I'm gonna die because of bleeding. So, in other words, my condition is I'm limping, my leg hurts, jumping and breaking my leg would be a big risk. A rack of flashlights hung on the wall. One of them was missing. That's because you have the flashlight. The smell of dirt and trees washed over me as I escaped it all. I thought of the guard I had found, supine against the fence. He looked like he'd been dealt a serious blow and hadn't a clue what was coming. But why? Why kill a guard? I had to keep going to find Risha. I hoped that the dirt tree in front of me would lead closer to town, and I fought to hell. Like I said, ours is the old truck and carried it off the road and into the guardrail. Its front was crushed and its windows had all been smashed. Judging by the rust, it had been there a while. Not great. I'm on the street, I hope. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. Oh. I had entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for the faint sound of a television. Oh no. He's dead. Jesus, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my co-worker and one of the few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been killed trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, you deserve that and that is. Did I close his eyes? Yes. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace or if I just couldn't stand to think about what was going on. Quickly I closed Norman's eyes. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? It smelled fresh. I have a weird feeling. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trashed it and pocketed it. I guess that this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups there, still there in the wood. So then, no. So it isn't Norman. Then it's somebody else that knew Norman and was working with me, and he killed Norman because he knew. Maybe because he knew about his plan, or he was trying to get him to. Despite the shock of already finding Norman in that state, seeing this turned my stomach just as much. It was one of Rachel's old fall coats. What was it doing there? Was she okay? There was a well-maintained gun cabinet here in Norman's room. I didn't know much about guns, but it looked like it kept a few hunting rifles and maybe even a few pieces he shouldn't have. One of the guns was missing. That's the gun that was there. So that's the gun that I found. It was one of Norman's guns, stolen. I used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. The janitor store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. So, the money was taken. The iceberg seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. There were various postcards from the area seen from the tourists. One of the posters showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. What else would I be forced to endure before then? Seeing Norwell up there dead, it turned in my stomach just to think of it, but I couldn't put it out of my mind. How was he involved in all this? This was getting worse and worse. I was starting to feel incredibly vulnerable. As I stepped out into the rain, I realized how close I was to home. I hope I will soon find my answers. And which is exactly my home. Neighbor's local post box. A letter was sticking out. Someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter? There was no return address, but the envelope was addressed to no one. Carefully, I told her when I looked at the letter. It read, "Stay away, she's mine." That was it. No signature, no other information. Oh crap. I already don't like it. I entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant but also afraid. I hope that was flour. I held my breath as I approached my art back door. I was terrified to step inside. Oh, the moment of truth! The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, arrogant and stained. I flickered the light switch. By the door, the power was off. That's not good. The table was clean. It hadn't been used any time recently. I should go downstairs or upstairs. I should go upstairs first. I have a very bad feeling. The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. Television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but by then it was too late. It's very quiet. Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. Oh, not good. Books that were half mine, half Horatio's. Hey, now that I look at more closely, it looked like that man in that house had some of the same books as I did. There was a suitcase on the bed. It was Horatio's. I remember it from that trip we took out west. Did I open the suitcase? Yes. Wasn't sure what to make of the suitcase contents. Inside were a few days worth of some toy and a train ticket. Where was she planning to go? This wasn't getting me anywhere. Did she kill? Is she the killer? No, it has to be somebody else because it said in the letter that she's mine. Back off. So, who is it? What's going on? My laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top of the drawer on my desk. Did I take it? Yes. The water tower. What's it doing here? Was Rachel looking at the water tower? I wonder. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old crafted bathtubs. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't got anything to fix it yet. This is getting creepier and creepier by the moment. I unlocked to get the basement door. Wait, what about the room here? I can't open this yet. I have to go to the basement first. But I have a weird feeling about the basement. Whew. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key here. Did I take the key? Don't knock at the door. There was all those tools and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. Whew. The grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked the door. I looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There was an old crowbar on the floor. Did I need to take the crowbar? Well, better save the sorry. I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. She's not here. Then where is she? She's not home. And what should I do? Of course, there was another door here. The front door was locked from inside. I couldn't go out, though I needed to see if Rachel was here. But she isn't here. Isn't here. Then where is she? By the looks of the things, the provider had broken a few things. Okay, Rachel isn't here. Now what? she's not in the house, because that means I can exit through the backyard. No way I was going to walk away from this now. But she's not here, seriously. What am I supposed to do with the crowbar? Crowbar I found would have been strong enough to break through that sheet. They break the through the wall with the crowbar. Yes, swung the crowbar at the wall, smashed a hole large enough to step through. The step through the wall, my heart caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Don't look. Don't look. Looking pile of wrecks had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had come this far. For all this searching, for all I see. When I looked at it, did I finally find my Rachel? Oh. Your wet matter covered in dirt and grime, but inside that tattered mess was no sign of my beloved wife. Rachel wasn't there. I looked around in confusion, trying to figure out what to do next. If she wasn't there, where was she? What had I been searching for this entire time? I remember the look on Rachel's face when I came home, didn't I? Then the authorization hit me right in the gut. I had been looking at this time the wrong way, hadn't I? This is what you've been trying to tell me all along, isn't it? I couldn't find Rachel there, and I won't find her anywhere else because she was never there at all. Was she? Stumbled back upstairs, the pain in my just a dull inch now. I sat down on my bedroom. My mind was spinning and the ache I felt before was near crippling. Finally, I could no longer fight the exhaustion, and as I tried to get hold of something that would make sense of all this, I must have drifted off. I guess that these books were all actually mine then. In the shards of that broken mirror, I could see my face, gaunt, now hollow and slinky, and immensely troubled. What utter illusion had I dreamed of? What utter truths were waiting to be exposed? Oh, this is interesting. It's getting crazy. All of a sudden, the laptop had finally run out of power. It was the keycard I found in the factory, the one that allowed me to slip through that door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's, but if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Who else would it have been? Norman, what were you doing back there? I used it to tell myself that Rachel was the one who wanted to keep the top. In the dirty faded glass, I looked like nothing more than a faint shadow. Well, this is getting mentally disturbing all of a sudden. My old office safe sat on the floor. I used it to keep tax records and other important documents in it. It used a digital passcode lock. Did I try to open it? Let's see if it did. What was the damn code again? That wasn't it. Damn, I couldn't remember it. As soon as that these two of the names in that must take note. had been. Recent victims: Hater, Olivia, Ashley, Cherry, Daphne, Holly, Rose. Those were that I found in that dead forest. I wonder what happened to the other names on the list, or the ones scratched out on that desk on those wet tunnels. I still had no idea what was on that tape I found on the garbage. If only I had found a way to watch it. I had that old TV for so long, I don't know if I could ever replace it. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back to the into the basement. Oh, I have a feeling that Rachel is indeed dead. And the murderer is nobody else but the main character. How many breakfasts had I eaten there, completely alone? I have a feeling she's dead. The wall was cracked and pitted. I was told by an inspector the basement had been partially filled in before I brought her up. By the look of that way, I was going to need to fix the foundation. Everything smelled musty and all down there. That was it. With a ratio gun, I couldn't stand to be in that house a moment longer. Did I leave and say goodbye to that nightmare forever? I didn't deserve to go. I had to finish this another way. Must have locked the door. There was no reason to return to the backyard. What about the case? The bed? On this floor. There's nothing on it. Rachel's bag isn't there. What bothers me is that it kept saying on the wall, don't look, don't talk. I had a very fucking weird feeling that she's actually dead. Now it's confusing me as well. Even I have no idea what's going on. Must be another way. Just I'll have to check the rooms carefully. Oh god. Seriously, what was on that tape? Well, I can't replay it. I don't wanna replay it. Password lock. Did I try to open it? No. What was that other man up to? Passcode, 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 passcode. Number. My head was pounding. It's a number. What? Where? I need a passcode somewhere. I can't open the safe. digital number. I have no freaking idea and it's annoying me. No, you didn't leave. Stop being a pussy. There's gotta be a passcode somewhere. Maybe it's somewhere in the basement. Maybe that was it. I have a feeling there's a continuation. It's not over yet. I can't find anything. Guess I'll exit. Because there's like a million combinations on the safe that's in here. Seriously no idea what's the pass. Is it an 8-digit code? What was that damned code again? 8-digit code. That's a long code. I'll try something stupid. Oh, that wasn't it. Damn, I cannot remember. Guess that's it. I'm gonna exit through the door. Don't see any other option. Did I even say goodbye to that nightmare forever? Yes. Goodbye. Since I had arrived in town, things have been difficult. Working in the plant though had been good for me. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours. At the time, drinking was probably just a way to deal with that. It was almost as if I was trying to beat my brain at its own game. Things stopped making sense sometime after that, and my memories of what happened are still in flux. I suppose that was when Rachel came along. This night had been the worst of my entire life. Would it even be possible to bounce back from everything that had happened? Everything I seen, you know, in a way, I almost wish I had woken up tonight. It would have spared me a lot of pain. For starters, the man I had found in that old place. Who had killed him, and why was I even there? Still, I knew that Norman had been going back to the factory, but I wasn't sure I understood why. The guard outside had obviously met a violent death, but do you think it was Norman? At this point, do you think he was even dead? I had to catch my breath to take it all in. At each point until the factory, things had only gotten worse, but then I had seen something even I wouldn't have expected when I went to Norman's store. That's when my perspective of all this really started to change. Poor Norman was dead, but I had no idea what happened to him. But as painful as all of it that was, oh god, I couldn't bear to think about it again. After all I had done and seen, finally coming home was supposed to be the end of this entire ordeal. God help me though, it was only the beginning. As the doors swung open, I could smell damp grass and closeness of the air. After everything, it felt like I had more questions than answers. You made me see the truth, I'll give you that, but now I was completely lost. You took away the only thing that had kept me going. I was sure word would get out, and soon enough the police would come looking for me. And what then? Will you be there to show me the way? What will I do then? That wasn't scary at all. Some of the parts scared the crap out of me, true, but it didn't scare the living shit out of me. That's what I'm disappointed about. Okay, so obviously that was one of the endings. So who was the real murderer and everything? What happened to Rachel? Did she even exist? That's my character's ending, so I have no idea. Home is dedicated to my wife Nancy. Watch your back. I don't like that. The end. Well, that was interesting. Share your story at homehorror.com. What happened? Yeah. Well, that was freaking interesting. It was worth the money, but if I wanna find out more about this, I'll have to play it again. But I'll play it possibly at some other time. It was interesting though. That was it. Good night.